Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tony Holowitz, and I want to thank you for being here for this Act software tip. I had a client recently call me, and she had said, "Yep, all my notes and histories have disappeared out of Act." And she could not understand how that could possibly happen. She was really concerned about that. So when I looked at her Act data, I sort of knew before I even looked what most likely happened. But I want to show you this. Just in case you don't know it, you can create a note in Act by clicking on Note. You can type in anything you want. I just type in a note, and I'm going to click OK, and you'll see the notes down here below. Notes work just like history in a lot of ways. Histories, you click on the history item, you type in anything you want, and I'm going to click OK, and now we have a history. So what happened was they called me and said, they're working an act, and this information, which they knew was there, had totally disappeared, and they were quite concerned. So let me show you what most likely happened when that was the case. Now all the notes and history have disappeared. So where did they go? What happened here? How did they possibly just go away? Well, the answer is actually quite simple. I want to draw your attention right down here to where it says dates. I want you to notice that the dates say future. What's sort of funny about this little area here is sometimes if you touch your mouse the scroll wheel on your mouse, it can change the date. And if you change it to a time that doesn't encompass when your notes or history were created, and because most of them weren't created in the future, because that's, almost impossible, if you somehow get this item right down here where it says dates to future, they're all going to disappear. So all we have to do to bring those back is simply come into this area, click on all dates, and make sure that you do the same thing for also for the notes or history. So that's one way that can happen. So another way it can happen is that let's say you do a search in a note for a word. Let's say the search is for the word Tony. I'm going to type in Tony here, and I'm going to click on Go, and you'll see all the notes disappear because none of the notes contain the word Tony. I'm going to go over to History, and again, if I search for a keyword, and I'm going to put in my name Tony, and click on Go, you can search through all your histories or notes depending on which tab you're on to find that information. But when I go back to notes, they're still missing. Now this is a little thing I wish the software didn't do, but notice in the keyword it has Tony in there still. All you got to do is come in and delete that out, and eventually if you refresh the data, and I'm going to do it by pressing the F5 key, if I go back to history, and again I'm going to take out Tony, I'm going to click Go, or I can do refresh, and you'll see all the notes come back. So either you did a search or you changed the date on the notes in history, and that's why they disappeared. So those are two simple examples of how that can happen. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tony Holowitz, and I want to thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day. Bye now.